Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back. We're here today with our Mindset and Motivation Monday show of the week. 6 years strong. We've been really coming forward with hopefully inspiring you to be a better version of you. And that last part of that statement is really what we want to talk about here today. I know that we live in a world right now of social media. Most people participate, not everyone, but a lot of people participate in this thing we call social media. That means as you're scrolling through your news feed every day or all your different posts from all the different people that you follow, subconsciously we're looking in our head of how do we compare? Meaning, are we doing better, at least in our mind, in terms of health or career or finances or the mental base state we have, our overall spirituality, our weight, our looks, whatever it might be? It's this constant comparison to other people online. And of course, in the world itself, this didn't just start with the advent of social media a couple decades back. It hasn't been like that. It's always been in the world where you're walking down the street, you're meeting other people, you're seeing other people, even at church, and you're comparing yourself better or not. Do I go to church more often or not? You know, how often do I see them? And then you're also judging, of course, all the other material-based things of life. So I wouldn't say that this is normal human emotion, a normal human factor for us to judge everything. However, I do think it is part of our limbic brain, our limbic system, where we are naturally judgers. We're naturally judging, is this a safe environment or not? Are we okay or not? Now, the bigger issue, though, is we've been led to believe that somehow we are better than or worse than another individual. And I want to share with you this. Whether you believe that you are better than someone in terms of body, looks, health, finances, career, spirituality, relationships, whatever it might be, if you think that you're better than, that's a problem. But also, if you think that you are worse than another person in terms of looks, finances, career, spirituality, relationships, body, etc., that's just as bad. It is not better to think that you are better than someone else or better to think that you are worse than someone else. It doesn't make you any better spiritually or emotionally in any aspect. They are both judgments. Believing you are better than or less than, or believe it or not, even the same is a judgment. We have to be very careful in life when we compare. Because whenever we are comparing better than, worse than, or even the same, we're passing judgment. We have to understand that judgment hurts us more than it hurts anyone else. Because first of all, the other person doesn't necessarily know that we're judging them. Sometimes people do, no doubt about it. But a lot of times when you're looking and you're just scrolling through your phone, that person doesn't know that you're judging them. Unless you write a comment showing that you're judging them, they don't necessarily know that. And hopefully you're not doing that. But we have to understand this. Our judgments is one of our biggest detriments to moving forward and living a happy life. And I learned that, luckily now, I've learned that now about 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. 20 years ago when I was doing a lot more spiritual-based searching. And I just realized that I grew up, this is no blame on parents or family or anything like that, but this is how most of us grow up. And a lot of times in religion that we grow up saying, have I been good or have I been bad? have I sinned or not sinned? And not every religion is like this, but quite a few. And so you end up looking at your life in terms of, have I been a good boy or a bad boy? I mean, literally, when you're a child, that's what you're looking at. And even, again, with the holidays, which I don't think that this is necessarily a good thing to do. Oh, Santa's not coming this year if you've been a bad boy. I mean, this is kind of devastating psychology to a child. But believe it or not, our psychology is all but made up before the age of 8 years old in terms of our subconscious thinking. And the reason is that we move out of that theta-based phase around that 6 to 8 years old, because before that, we're just absorbing everything we see and much of what which we're told. So we have to understand, of course, the psychology that is embedded in us. The problem is, before the age of 8 or 6 years old, we don't remember too much. And that's really interesting as well. So we hold on to all of this subconscious psychological programming, yet we don't even really remember the events or the events how they might have been an actual reality, but only our reality in which that we actually experienced them. So it's a very, very dangerous thing. So a lot of our psyche has already been formed by the age of 8 years old, yet we don't even necessarily remember those events, but they have triggered now all of the different emotional responses we'll have as an adult. Well, here's the thing. At least how I grew up, and I know many, many other people, and I'm not blaming religion, and I'm not saying religion is bad. I want to always say what is. I just want to talk about what is, and then we can decide from there. I actually don't believe that religion is a bad thing at all. That's certainly not something that I want to share with anyone. I think it can be very, very helpful, inspiring. It can allow you to have faith, and I think it's amazing. I really do. What we have to understand is this, is that if we believe, though, that we have to judge ourselves or judge others, we're in a really bad position. You can allow God to do the judging if that's how you feel it will be, but you don't need to play that role and judge other people or even yourself. You can, and I'm going to get to what we want to move more towards in just a couple minutes, but I just want you to understand is that if you live a life of judgment, you are always going to feel judged. Meaning, like, if you are always judging other people or places or things, good, bad, or the same, what's going to happen is you are always going to think that people are judging you. That's how life works. What we put out there, we get back, because it's literally like an echo board or a mirror. We're basically just showing the world and showing up in the world as to who we are on the inside. So we have to be really careful with this. Now, the nice thing is, it took me a while, but I started to see all of the judgments I made throughout the day. I would judge someone maybe back in the day for smoking or for whatever it might be. And I would say, oh, that person shouldn't be smoking. They're going to be, but I didn't know if that person was smoking because they were super stressed out and they were having a really hard time in life. We don't understand the person's story. We don't know what people are going through. I can't judge any other human being because I haven't walked in their shoes. And people can judge me if they choose to. But again, as I've said before, and I've learned in my own life, that what people think of me is really none of my business. And again, it can't affect me unless they actually share that with me, their judgment of me with me. And even at that, it doesn't have to affect me, because I say, okay, it's if that's who you believe I am, I get it, I understand, but to my knowledge, we have never had a conversation before. You do not actually know who I am, right? So it's one of those things. So you can let it roll off you if you choose to. I highly recommend it. But we're really just talking about you here today, because honestly, in life, you can only really deal with you, right? You can only help you out. You can certainly share wisdom with other people, and I certainly hope that you do. Many great teachers have shared a lot of wisdom with me. Many more have shared wisdom with me, and they never know they have, because I've read thousands of books and I've taken their wisdom and have really tried to make it a part of my own life for what I felt fit my life. And of course, then the best thing you can do is try to pay it forward, share it with other people. And that's what I try to do here, obviously, every single Mindset and Motivation Monday, and with my children and really with anyone that will listen. I try to share what I believe will lead to a much happier and healthier life. Healthier psychologically, and if you're healthier psychologically, you're going to be healthier physiologically in terms of your body. So here's what I want to share with you here today. Big reasons why we can never compare ourselves to anyone else. The first one is this. You have to understand is that your body, your health, your overall psychological makeup is uniquely you. Meaning that we are all born into a different body. In Ayurveda, they have the Vata, the Pitta, and the Kapha, and they have variations of those that make up 10 different doshas, 3 main doshas, 3 main body types, and then a total of 10 subtypes, 3 plus another 7. So when we look at that, we say, well, you're not meant to be as muscular or big or as thin as this individual. What you're really meant to be is your own unique, perfect body into itself. And in terms of your health, well, my health, I can even, I can even look at my wife's health. My wife has a robust Th1 dominant immune system. Her dad has a robust Th1 dominant immune system. They never get sick. They literally never get a cold. But that doesn't mean that their immune system's perfectly healthy. It means that they have a really strong Th1 dominant immune system. Where me, I built my body up to now be healthy, but I was not born into my body as a super healthy individual. I was more Th2 dominant. I would get sick when there was anything around, right? Any virus around, I would get sick. And so we have to understand, I went from someone that would get sick on average maybe 8 to 12 times a year, and the majority of that between late October, November through April of that year, and it just get a sinus infection over and over and over, and all sorts of colds. I had allergies. You have to understand, I was always a sick kid until my mid-20s, and what happened was I learned more, right? I got more education. I began to heal my body at a much deeper level, but my body will always move towards Th2 dominance. It will always be more sensitive to the environment, sensitive to foods, sensitive to viruses, sensitive to being run down, any of those things. But again, now that I know that, good, I know what's unique about me, and I simply keep that balance, right? You achieve a state of equilibrium. That's what it's all about. So, but we can never compare. Like, I could never compare my immune system to my wife's. Like, it's just, that's not the way that it's going to work. And that's okay, because I have pros and, my wife has pros in those two different departments, Th1 versus Th2. We're very different in terms of the immune system. The goal is balance, though. That's really what it's all about. You're lean in one direction, but the goal is balance. You may lean more towards weight gain, but the goal is not to gain the weight. The goal is to be at a good weight for you. Or you might lean more towards weight loss and being overly thin, which is not as healthy either. So your goal is to have a little bit more weight back on your body. So the goal is always simply balancing you. The second is just understanding that like, you are you, right? You're you. So you're comparing yourself to someone else that you are not, right? Like, you were born to be you. You weren't born to be someone else. If you were born to be someone else, you would be that individual, right? You would have been born into their life and you would be them. So many people overlook this. You're trying to be someone else, yet you weren't born them. You were born you. So whatever you're trying to emulate, if it's a good thing that you see in someone else, good, use them as a role model, right? If you are more of a Vata body type and you want to build your body up a little bit, good, use someone as a role model, but you don't need to look like them. You don't need to be them, right? There's a famous adage that you should never meet your idols, right? You should never meet your heroes, because they're real people, right? When you meet them in real life, they are not a superhero. There's not anything most likely uniquely superpower-esque about them. I've met many of what I would call my role models and idols, and every single time I've been disappointed. But then I realized the disappointment is me judging them. They're just being them. They're themselves. I put some type of superpower on them. They never had superpowers. Now, when I meet people that, I saw as role models years ago, or I meet famous athletes, or I'm working with athletes or working with celebrities, I just have a normal conversation with them because they're a normal person just like me. We're literally normal people. And so we just have a normal conversation together. And I don't judge them for anything that come to me, because believe it or not, I work with many celebrities, many athletes, many people you would know, and I work on them, of course, with their health. And they would never share many of the things they share with you publicly that they do with me privately, because we're working on their health. And I see on a much deeper level, wow, they're more uniquely human, we'll say, than many other people, because they go through a lot of the harsh judgments that we're speaking about here today. They're more public figures, and they absorb a lot more of that negative energy and those issues that come with living a life in the limelight and feeling judged and judging others. So the second is this, and this is big right now. I don't understand why people don't believe that their beliefs matter. Why does someone else's belief matter more than yours? So we have all these humans in the world today, right? We have all these humans, and sometimes they're celebrities. Sometimes they're athletes, sometimes they're authors, sometimes they host a podcast, sometimes they're in government, sometimes they're in the military, whatever it might be. And so we look at them all of a sudden. Let's just talk about a government-based leader, any country in the world. I'm not talking about anyone in specific. We look at that elected official like they are somehow better, smarter, or more developed spiritually or intellectually in some way than you. And it's simply not the case. That is literally a normal person, like a neighbor of yours. Yes, they might have been born into politics or born into finances, whatever it might be, but it's a regular human being. That means if they have a specific belief and it runs contrary to yours, you do not need to adopt that belief. And that's really important, because their belief is not more important than your belief. If your belief does not hurt anyone else, then don't compromise it. Your beliefs matter just as much as anybody else's. And that's why, I get direct messages, I get texts, I get emails all the time. People saying, well, this person says to do this and I have to do this and you have to understand is you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You are uniquely you, and you are allowed to believe what you choose to believe. If not everyone supports you, that's okay, right? It's okay to be unique. It's okay to be you. What we have to understand is that we have to stop worrying about what the world thinks of us. And we also have to stop worrying about what we think of the world also around us. We can control exactly one person, and that's us. I always go back to it, but if we want to improve the world we live in, we have to understand and live by a quote by Jim Rohn. I will take care of me for you if you'll take care of you for me. Right? It's like a husband and wife or two partners in a relationship. And the other person's always trying to do for the other person. How can I make you happy? What can I do for you? All of that is great. It's great to have that mindset. But what the other person really wants is for you to be happy. And the way to really make you happy is to take care of you. Because in the inside, only you know what you want. And only you can go after what you want in life. So if you assess where you're at right now, and you just say, again, non-judgmentally, I am not where I want to be in life. And you say that, no judgment, just saying, I am not where I want to be. I have goals, I have aspirations, I have dreams, and I'm not there yet. Good. That's good, because now you are self-reflective. You are self-aware. The issue comes in when you start to go hard on yourself. I'm not where this person is. I should have been here 5 years ago. Hindsight is great, but maybe you weren't in the position to be able to take advantage of what you know right now. So what we need to do here is simply say, okay, you have goals, you have aspirations, you have dreams. Let's move forward to those, right? Let's move forward towards those goals. That is what we need to do. And then we say, well, what is it that we need to do in order to move forward towards those goals? Find the mentor, the coach, the doctor, the personal trainer, the pastor, like whoever it might be, that's going to move you towards that goal, right? And then you're going to implement some type of wisdom that you got from a coach, a mentor, or a book, or an online program, or whatever else it is that has a path for you to take. And then you're going to begin to walk that path. And then what are you going to judge? Absolutely nothing. But what are you going to do? You're just going to make sure that you did a little bit more than yesterday, that you were just a little bit better than yesterday. Not better in terms of anybody else, not better in terms of the world. Simply, are you living life to your potential? Are you doing just a little bit more than you did yesterday? Not for the sake of just doing a little bit more, but for the sake of reaching your potential, of being able to grow as a human being. Because I'm telling you right now, the more that you grow, the better that you are for you, the better you will be for everyone else. Everybody wins as you grow as an individual. You have more to give. You have more to share. You have more wisdom. So please figure out how you can help you, and then, of course, be a service to society. Go out there and share that message with as many people that will listen. Thank you so much for tuning into today's Mindset and Motivation Monday. I appreciate you. I thank you. And of course, all the reviews, all the support. I love it. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Do feel free to share the show with anyone else you believe it could serve. Thank you so much for tuning into the show today. And before you go, I want to make sure that you know about this amazing offer over at Equilife. Right now, you can get a free box of one of our most popular products, which are these superfood chocolate bars. These are actual dark chocolate bars that you don't have to feel guilty about eating. At only 90 calories and only 5 grams of fat, you are looking at an organic chocolate bar that tastes like cherries, raspberries, and chocolate. So if you like raspberry and you like chocolate, you're going to love this bar. Picture a small, individually wrapped, organic dark chocolate bar that's loaded with superfoods as well, such as apple, cherry, and raspberry. What you really come across, though, is the dark chocolate and that raspberry taste, a little touch of cherry as well. They're absolutely delicious. My family loves them. We keep them in the refrigerator, and I have no doubt you will as well. And right now, every single order, while supplies last, will ship with qualifying orders over $99 from Equilife with a free box of chocolate superfood bars. Again, absolutely amazing. You can go to StephenCabral.com/Equilife for all of the details, or StephenCabral.com/chocolate to head on over to these chocolate superfood bars. Check them out, try them out, let me know what you thought. Love to hear from you. Take care.